when it tells me we good, we good. Welcome everybody to Wind Down with Kev, Season 5, Episode 5. So excited today to bring you an amazing guest with an amazing story to tell. I can't wait to share her journey with you. Always want to say thank you to everyone that's followed all 5 seasons so far. First 4 episodes of this season, I'm bringing you people from around the country, each one unique, each one with a different journey, each one with a whole lot of value that can help somebody else, that helps somebody else. And tonight is no different. I'm very excited to introduce to some and present to others Miss Kawiima Clifton. Kawiima, talk to the people. Tell them about yourself.
Hey, everyone. So I am, as Kevin said, Kawiima Clifton. Most call me KC. I am retired Air Force veteran, retired in 2020 in July, right before COVID. And since then, I have been going on a journey of being a success coach. And I've built a community called SHERO Veterans Connect, which is a community that helps transitioning women transition from the military. And it is also for active duty women who are getting ready to get out of the military or thinking about getting out of the military, and allows them to connect and empower each other and succeed in all aspects of their lives. I'm born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. So
Okay.
I am from Florida, Florida girl.
You're in Jacksonville. We have a few military bases in Jacksonville. Am I correct?
Yes. So you have Mayport and then you have NAS Jax. So it's mostly Navy.
Okay.
But I'm retired Air Force. So most of my career, I started out my career in, of course, basic training, San Antonio, Texas. the heat.
I love it out there.
Yes. And then from there, I went over to Fort Walton Beach, Florida. So I went back home, stayed there for about 2 years, and then I transitioned over to Turkey. So I did 15 months living in Turkey, which was awesome.
Very
And
different.
after Turkey, yes. Love the culture. Love the culture. Great times too.
I love it.
After that, I came back to Florida. So I just like being home for some odd reason.
Well, nothing wrong with Florida. I was in Florida twice this year. I love Florida. But let me go to the beginning of the journey. I want to tap into the young women that are listening to this podcast, that are watching this podcast. Maybe they're a senior in high school this year, and they're trying to figure out which way they go when they graduate. When I graduated from school, it was pretty common. It was probably 50-50, 30-30-30. Some people went to college, some went to work, and some went to the military. Talk about that decision matrix for you. Did you join the Air Force right out of high school, or did you do some things in between?
No, I didn't. I actually started out going to community college right after high school. So in high school, I majored in law. And due to financial situations and, my family, we didn't have enough money for me to go to a 4-year, like a university college. So I started out the cheaper route, which sometimes is the best route.
You avoid that debt.
Yes. And so I started at FCCJ, Florida Community College of Jacksonville. And then I decided, because I was going on a Pell Grant,
Okay.
and I also had a job. So eventually, once the income started coming in, the grant money started getting lower. So education was my reason for joining the Air Force. And I made that decision back in 99 of 99. Yeah, 99 was when I came in. So enjoyed it, did the delayed entry program. So what I did was, once I made that decision to join the Air Force, I connected with my recruiter, the local office, and I helped them out. Like, I was answering phones if they needed help with something until it was time for me to actually go in.
You took kind of like an internship route. You was actually working there, working on helping folks get in while you were in the process of getting into yourself. That should have given you like a leg up and a little bit of an insight into what you were getting into.
It did. And I absolutely love my recruiters. Like they took care of me the entire time, made sure that I was ready. I knew fitness was going to be one of the things. So they worked out with me. They just made sure that I had everything that I needed. And when it was time to go in and get my job, they made sure that I got a job that was quality and that was going to help me progress, along in my military career. And
And
when
to
I
say,
first came in, mhm.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
So when I first came in, my job was supply systems analyst. So that is the job that I got. So I was kind of like a computer room geek.
Yeah.
And then eventually I transitioned over into personnel, which in the civilian sector is equivalent to HR.
I love both things because both jobs that you had have great connectivity when you come out. Supply chain is a big conversation in the private sector right now, and
Mhm.
HR and personnel is everywhere. So both of those things are very, very relevant to you. So you go from being recruited and coming into the military to while you're there, you're helping other people figure it out, both with both sides, probably what you do when you first get in, and also trying to give them some guidance to prepare them for when they come out.
Absolutely. Yes, you are absolutely correct.
Now, how are those conversations for you? Do most people have an idea of what they would like to do both inside and when they get out?
So when you're coming in, it's based off of test scores.
Okay.
So everyone tests, there's an aptitude test and it covers math, everything. And then based on how you do on that test, it determines which jobs they present to you. So you
Okay.
may come in thinking, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but if your scores
Ooh. Oh,
don't meet that,
no,
then
no.
yeah, then it's not you will get a different option. Now, once you get in, there is that option to cross train, like what I did. So earlier in my career, my first career field, that job decided to merge with regular
Okay.
supply. So they were taking the computer room and they were about to like kind of merge us in with regular warehouse and I'm not that's not me.
You want to be on the keyboards. You're not trying to count inventory and all
Yes.
that. I got it. I got
I'm
it.
not a forklift driver. I'm none of that.
Got it. I
So
got it.
at that point, I decided to transition into a new career field. And you do have that opportunity. So you may come in a specific job, but then later on within your career, you can cross train into another career field that
I
you may.
love it. I love it. That's a great opportunity that I'm thinking of all the military commercials I've heard over the years. Be all that you can be and all those kind of things. But that's good that training is offered because that's not always available out here in the private sector. A lot of times people want you to come in already with experience in the field, already hitting the ground running. And if you've been doing something else, you haven't had a chance to do it. So let me tap into the military a little bit. One of the things that made the military attractive to me, my friends that were older than me that went to the military, they got a chance to travel and see the world, and they bring those stories up to this day. So when you mentioned Turkey, you put the biggest smile on your face. What was your travel like to Turkey and other places around the world that you lived in?
Oh, yes, I have traveled. So Turkey was my first international experience.
Okay.
And that was
Okay.
actually during the time when the war kicked off
Wow.
after September 11th. So I was there and we had fun.
You had fun. My eyes got big because I'm a New Yorker. So September 11th is a home game and super personal, kind of like a
Mhm.
time where I saw the whole country come together in a way that it never did. So how did that impact you? Were you already there when it happened?
So when it happened, no, I was actually in Florida at the time.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can remember it clear as day. I was in the driver's license office, like I was looking at the TV and it came up on a TV screen and it was just like, oh my gosh. And a few months after that was when I went to Turkey. And Turkey, it was actually quiet when the war kicked off because there was some agreements that Turkey had made with the United States where we couldn't really, do too much. But we did have to like neo out and, get the families out of the area and get them back home to the United States. So I was a part of that and getting, those dependents out of the area so that we can do what we needed to do. But as far as fun times in Turkey, got a chance to just see the culture, the people, the food. We did mountains. I'm a Florida girl. I don't really care for mountains too much. But I can remember one time it was a group of us and we were up on the mountain and we had this kind of like, it was a van and it was a stick fan. And we started rolling back down the mountain.
You into my fears right now. I am definitely I don't mind flying, but I don't like being on mountains where I can't see no edges.
Yes, and the Turkish, like the Turkish individuals, like they fly around the mountains like fast, going around curves, and they will swerve around you. And sometimes there's no barriers on the side. So
that's what I need barriers in my life. I need lines in the sand that tell me where I'm good and where I'm not good.
Yes. Jet skiing on the Mediterranean Sea, like castles, hiking, like it was a great experience.
So help me with my geography a little bit. Right now, Dubai is a destination place for a lot of my friends. Everybody's going to Dubai and they're taking those pictures. So help me out with geography. Where's Turkey relative to Dubai? And did you have the chance to go there before it became what everybody's vacationing to today?
So Turkey, it's all in that area. But as far as Dubai, I didn't get the chance to go there. I do have close friends that have been there. I do have some contractor friends from when I was deployed in Afghanistan in 2018 that constantly, they've been there multiple times. That's kind of like their getaway from being in the deployed location for long periods of time. So they'll transition there to get a break. We do have people that are stationed in the UAE, they do their time and they come back. So just all depends. But I've never had the chance to go, but it is on my bucket list.
It's on my bucket list as well. They're building some beautiful things I've heard wonderful things about. In my mind, I've been there on Instagram and through other people's stories, but I have not been there myself. So we go from talking about Turkey, and then you mentioned Afghanistan 2018. You've been where the action has been. Did you just get to Afghanistan in 2018, or were you there a couple of years before when a certain person was caught?
So I got to Afghanistan in 2018, but there's a lot that has happened in between that time frame. So Turkey was in the early 2000s. From Turkey, I went back to Florida, and then I went to Arkansas. I got married. So I've been with my husband for 17 years. So majority of my career, he's also active duty. Well, he was active duty. We retired at the same time. We have two beautiful daughters. And after Arkansas, I actually went to Korea next. So Korea was my next tour. That was fun too.
I can imagine.
And then from Korea, Korea I did by myself. So my family couldn't go there. So that was 12 months alone. And then we went to England for 3 years after I left England, after I left Korea. And after England, we went to California.
I love it.
2015, and then 2018 is when I got to Afghanistan.
I love it. Fast forward to Well, let me ask you a question. I have some things I want to ask, but then I'm always listening for my audience. What was that journey like doing time in a country by yourself without your family? Had you guys been together the whole time with your husband and children the whole time? Was that the first deployment that required a period of separation?
No, so since both of us were actually military, um, you have deployments that can come from both ends.
Got it.
So he actually deployed to Afghanistan before I did, and
Okay.
his was in 2009 timeframe. Was when he first went to the on his deployment there. That was the first time that our family was fully split.
Okay.
That's tough because as women, we wear so many different hats. And you never think that once you get married in civilian life, when you get married, like your spouse is there.
Yes, of course.
You don't think that you can actually be married in a single parent.
That
But it is a reality when you wear the uniform.
yes.
Um, and thankfully, I had a support system, and we've always had a support system. Even when our firstborn was, when she came, he left actually a month and a half after she was born,
Okay.
and he went to Turkey. So I came back from Turkey, and then he went to Turkey a year later. We had her, and then he left.
Wow. That's
But we weren't married then.
people say this all the time. Thank you for your service. And they say it because it's polite, but I truly mean it because you being on the front lines, your husband being on the front lines, defending the country, what you go through behind the scenes that people don't know about is it's amazing, it's different, but it builds a strength and resolve, and it teaches you how to build that supportive community, which are skills I think that come in handier later in life. You just can't be in a silo by yourself. In my career journey, I lived in Chicago for 9 years, from 91 to 2000, and I was 5 minutes away from Great Lakes Naval Base. So I
Mm.
spent a lot of time with military family. Shout out to all my military family, William Scruggs Lodge, all the people that I journeyed with during that time. But it's different. You have different relationships, different connections, and it's so worth it. But fast forward, you're retired. Did your husband retire from the military as well?
Yes, we both retired in 2020. We both decided to
Outstanding.
hang up the uniform and take off our boots.
Beautiful. Well done. Well, you retired at a time when normally I can ask what the transition was like, but retiring during COVID, that added an element to re-entering the workforce that didn't exist before. So what was the transition like coming out of the military?
It did, man. So in the military, they always tell you that you know when you're ready to get out.
Okay. Okay.
And I was ready to get out.
Okay.
And coming into transition, it's tough. It's hard because you have the excitement of starting something new, but then you also have that fear of the unknown.
Yes.
And you don't know. You're so I hate to say it, but I think the military coddles us to some degree because we're used to getting a steady paycheck on the 1st and the 15th.
Yeah.
Insurance, we know
Yeah. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
our insurance is. It comes out, it's allotted out of our paychecks. When it comes to housing, we get an allowance. When it comes to food, we get an allowance. So there's a
Yes.
lot of things that we're accustomed to. So
Yes.
then when we have to transition out, even medical,
Yes.
it's all foreign to us.
Well, let me ask you a question. I don't know the answer to this. When you leave the military, like I know a lot about other civil servants that retire, police department, fire department, certain things stay with them. How does that work with the military? Does your insurance stay with you for life or does it cease immediately?
No, so there you have to transition your insurance. So most have the SGLI, which is Service Members Group Life Insurance, but then they present you with different options, so you can convert that over to a VG
Mhm.
LI life insurance, which is the veterans life insurance, or you have to do the research and learn the the other insurance options. So eventually, you have to transition that over for your family. And if you're going into corporate, a lot of the companies do offer insurance, so it makes it a little bit easier. But I'm never one to believe that you should just go based off of having insurance from your employer, because if you leave that company, what happens?
Absolutely. You're on your own. So I have a lot to ask you about insurance. I'm going to come back to it, but I want to ask you about your passion and your business now. SHERO's Veterans Connect. Talk to me about the impetus. Where did the idea come from? Where is it going, and where are you in the journey right now?
All righty. So SHERO Veterans Connect. Man, so over the past 3 years since I got out of the military, it's been a journey of trying to re-identify who I am without the uniform, because
Yes.
it's a culture. And I had all of these ideas of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be when I grow up, when I got out. And it wasn't until this year that I started to tap back into my spiritual. And because I was wanting to do, I thought I was going to have a bounce house event recreation company. I think I've been through trucking, I've been through a UPS store, I've been through a lot of different ideas, real
Yes.
estate. And then it wasn't until this year where I really started having to have those deep dive conversations with God. Okay, what is it that I'm supposed to do?
Yes.
Because doors were closing.
Yes.
And it came, it like, and he spoke, he revealed, and he said, "Hey, you're trying to lead. I
Yes.
need you to let me lead."
Oh,
So I need I need you to step back. And so
yes.
I'm like, okay. So I stepped back, and then I started realizing that certain people started coming into my life. And one of the things I started my lock journey this year, and I was at the salon, and I met the co-owner,
Okay.
and she began talking. She was like, man, she was like, you have a lot of leadership experience. She was like, being in the military and the experience that you have to coach people, she was like, that's what you need to lean on. And it was just
Yeah.
like, I had never thought about
Yeah.
it in that
You
way.
you realize that there's a great need for coaches out here to help people with that.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
loctician to tell you, the loctician to tell you, I love it.
Yes. And so then I realized, so once I started, okay, I'm helping people. And I mean, I'm a helper regardless. So when my girlfriends call, if people call, even when women and men were transitioned out of the military, I'm like, hey, send me your resume, send me your stuff. Let me help you through your journey, as you're getting out. But it never dawned on me that I could make this a profession outside of the uniform. And I'm doing that now. So now I am a success coach, and
Yes.
I am helping transform the lives of women, help them step into their purpose, strategize, plan to reach their goals and the career, whether it be corporate, whether it be business, whatever it is that they want to achieve. That is what I do. I help them achieve. And SHERO Veterans Connect is a branch of my coaching for
Okay.
the military community. And it's catered to women veterans. And it's a safe place, a safe lounge. I like to call it a safe
Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that.
lounge. So they can feel comfortable. But it's a
Yes.
place where we can all connect and learn from one another, empower each other, and then succeed all together because we are stronger together.
I love that. I love that answer. Let me ask you a question as a man that some men don't think about in this transition to the workplace. You said it's a lounge, but then you emphasize the safe lounge and the community to come together. Why is that important?
It's important because we all have gone through our military career And there's some sensitive things that we've gone through. It's the military is a culture. It's
Hmm.
it's, it's a culture,
Hmm.
and there's trauma that has
Hmm.
happened. Just like for myself, sexual assault victim. Survivor. I checked
Thank God. Thank
survivor,
God. Thank
and and I know many women who have been through that. I know many women who have had experienced loss. I've experienced loss. I've lost colleagues. I've lost airmen. There's trauma there. So that safe space, being able to let your walls down, let your guard down, and get the help that you need, and have the dialogue. If there's something that someone is needing and they don't want to speak up, then hey, they have a community that they can tap into to make sure that they can get whatever they need.
I love that. That is so critical. I think community is something that so many people are looking for in every aspect of life. As a member of the military, as a veteran, you belong to a group. You are Air Force, you are a veteran, you are part of that. And then when you come out and you try a few different jobs trying to find your space, you're looking for your place to fit in. And
Mhm.
it wasn't for you to fit in, it was for you to form this group, and it's beautiful that you're there for women and you've created this safe space. I was looking at your page. You had some other things. You and I have a few things in common I'm going to tap into right now. I saw you posting about the fight against breast cancer. I've been in the fight against breast cancer for a very long time. I partner with a lot of organizations and community organizations in my area to help be an advocate for people getting checked out. Talk to me about why this is important to you.
So breast cancer hits home for me. So I have a lot of people that are close to me that have gone through breast cancer. And I started seeing it early in my career. I started seeing because I worked, once I transitioned over into HR, worked in the hospital. So I worked for medical as their admin for their group. And there were women in medical that I was friends with, and they were going through breast cancer while being in the uniform. And that has been a reality for several women. One of my closest friends right now is going through that. So it really did hit home. My mother in law, like she's a survivor, 2 time survivor. So, it's just something that I think we as women, we have to practice that self care, and we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we look out for one another.
No,
And raising that awareness is very, very important.
absolutely. I love how you're doing your part to raise the awareness. I looked at your videos and your timelines, and you create education and awareness, but you do it in a very, very fun way. I like your videos. I like the mix of trap music that you have in your video. Some of your
Yes.
advice is not appropriate for me to say, but it's up your alley. So you keep doing what you're doing to impact lives. So I wanted to touch base with that. That's one of the things we share in common. Funny story is you're based out of Jacksonville. You're born and raised. That's where your military career started. That's what's brought you home. About 2 weeks ago, I was coaching an agent in Jacksonville, Florida. One of the things I do besides owning and operating and running my Allstate insurance agency in New York is that I coach agents around the country. And many people in my field, my industry, the insurance industry, they're struggling to find really good qualified people to work in the agency. So I knew one of the things I wanted to bring up with you, veterans and sheros in specific are great fits for the insurance business. Why?
Yes.
Number one, the most important thing in all business is three things. People have to know you, like you, and trust you. Well, you're a vet. That answers a lot of questions immediately and opens a door for conversations that people wouldn't otherwise have.
Mhm.
Your military experience, because of the trauma you've experienced, the life, the death, the journey, makes you very conversational. When I say you, I mean you, other veterans, other sheroes. So I strongly encourage you to look into the insurance industry. But back to the conversation I was having with an agent based in Jacksonville, Florida. She was having a hard time looking for people. I said, well, Jacksonville, Florida. Isn't there a military base there? She's like, yes. Have you contacted the base? Like, no. We immediately went online during our coaching session to reach out to the base, and we found a path of a few organizations. But beyond this call, I'm going to connect her with you personally, because if there are any sheroes in the Jacksonville area that would like to think about a different career, a very stable career where they can control their outcome and become a
Mhm.
licensed professional and have a career, insurance is definitely one of the things that they should consider.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
I was having fun listening to you describe the life insurance aspects of it, the serviceman group life insurance, veterans group life insurance. I started with a lot of that stuff. I'm familiar. But then when you think about this, think of all the veterans in Jacksonville, think of yourself. You all live indoors, you all drive cars. Those insurances are mandatory. Why not buy it from a vet? Why
Yep.
not buy it from a vet, from someone that you already know, like, and trust? The other stuff becomes secondary to that piece. So I look forward to connecting with you on that basis beyond this podcast. And for
Mhm.
those listening and watching the podcast, please follow Kawiima at KC, as she's known to her friends, at SHERO Veterans Connect. Is spelled phonetically just like it sounds. We'll drop it in the tag so you can see it. But it's definitely something that I think is amazing. Florida is one of those destination states right now. Y'all got folks coming from New York and every state in the union moving down to Florida right now. So it's a great place to connect with many industries. And I think you're going to help a lot of veterans land. So talk to the people that are listening. How do they connect with you to learn more about Heroes Veterans Connect, and how you can help them just with that journey to transition from being military to private sector?
So if you want to get in contact with me and connect with me, you can search SHERO Veterans Connect on all social media platforms. And you can also follow me at I am Kawiima Clifton for my success coaching. And as far as services that I offer, I enjoy helping women strategize, map out their goals. Anyone who is looking to shift their mindset, change their thinking, they need an accountability partner. That is me.
I
I
love it.
am so I am originally from Jacksonville, Florida. However, I am currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you are in the ATL area, please don't hesitate to send me a message, reach out to me, and we can connect, have a cup of tea because I don't drink coffee. But definitely looking forward to connecting with anyone. If you want to join our private Facebook group, you can follow us on Facebook, and it's SHERO Veterans. So you just take the connect off, and then you should be able to submit your information and get access to the group.
I love it. I love that you have your private Facebook group set up. So folks out there, Kawiima and I, we're both a part of a GOAT mastermind group. We both are working very hard together on our digital products, taking these ideas from my head to launch them in a digital space so we can be of service to more people. So that's awesome. I think you and I are in a very similar space. You expect to launch your digital products later in 2024?
Correct. So I have a program that'll be coming out in 2024. It's called Boots Off, Heels On. It's the secret strategy to civilian success for my military women that are transitioning and getting ready to get out of the military. And actually, any woman can go through the course because I think it's beneficial to all. But for the course specifically, I'm tailoring it to women be veterans. You can be at the beginning of your career because honestly, I feel that if you are just now coming in, you need to plan now for your exit strategy, because you just never know what can happen to your career and you may think that you're going to do 20 years and you end up not doing 20 years. So it's always best to have a plan and have certain things laid out so that you know what you want to do when you get out.
No, absolutely, absolutely. We're talking about you helping individuals, but how many corporations are reaching out to you so they can find hero veterans that are in your group that would fit within their company? Because you're in ATL, that's where every company is based on.
Yes, yes. So I do have several companies that have reached out. I do get word of mouth as well from individuals that are getting ready to get out. So someone may know someone and they may refer them over to me. But definitely different companies, different individuals, people are reaching out. So don't hesitate.
I love it. I love it. Kawiima, let's go ahead and bring this home. Talk to the people. Is there anything you want to let people know that I did not ask you?
I just want to say thank you, Kevin. Thank you for this opportunity to allow me to come on and speak to the people and share me with everyone, with the world, and share what I'm doing and the impact that I'm making in lives of women and veteran women across the world. So just thank you.
Well, thank you for your service. Thank your husband for his service, and thank you for your vision and acting on your vision. My podcast is Wind Down with Kev, the Dream Chaser podcast. So I'm gearing it towards everyone that's chasing a dream. So do me a favor, talk to me about this dream you're chasing, and I want you to give a word of encouragement to anybody that's chasing a dream out there that's going through the highs and lows that come with this journey.
So if you're chasing dreams, just make sure that you stay consistent, be persistent, don't give up, and don't look at your failures as failures. They're lessons learned. And embrace that. Embrace the journey and just know that what God has for you will be for you. And keep that at the forefront of your mind.
I got nothing to add to it, nothing to take away. Ladies and gentlemen, Kawiima Clifton, at I am Kawiima Clifton, SHERO's Veterans Connect. Reach out to her on IG, join the Facebook group, watch where she is going. She's going places. And if you see yourself fitting in, she's going to take you with her. God bless and good night. Thank you, Kawiima.
Thank you, Kevin.